Today, I'm joined by Alex Caruso. If you are not following this kid on Twitter and you gamble on sports, I promise you, you are losing money. Alex last night hit probably the biggest bet of his life. Please tell us what happened, Alex.
We hit a plus 5,600 8-man lay last night. It came down to the wire. It took Daniel Jones throwing an interception on the final play and Rico Dowdle getting a carry on that final drive. But literally the last play of the game, I'm one leg away. I need a Daniel Jones pick, and he's throwing it deep down into the end zone. And then, someone on Dallas just made an absolutely heroic interception that literally gave me probably the biggest cash I've ever hit. And, hopefully we can repeat it on Sunday.
How much did you win on that bet?
It was an underdog flex play. So I didn't end up winning as much as I probably should have. Like a normal play, I probably would have hit like 25 for $2,000, but I probably made $600 or $700 on that, which is still great. But going for the flex plays to try to hit at least 6, didn't always work out when you have to hit 8. So I should have known.
Dude, that's just like the story of every gambler. And then, you're just begging for a win and you're like, I'm going to flex play. I'm going to start mixing and matching. And then you hit and you're like, what an idiot. I should have power played. It's always the selfish cycle.
You'll power play for 2 years straight. And then it was like my first flex play probably, since I was in college. And then, of course, that's the one that ends up hitting for 8 legs. But hey, either way, plus 5,600 is plus 5,600. Could not be happier to hit.
How bad were you sweating in that final 1 minute?
I just couldn't. I didn't think it was going to happen. I knew that he had probably 3 or 4 passes left for the game. So at that point, I was like, damn, I was so close and just kind of like half watching. And then I saw it go deep down the field and the Cowboys guy is rising up. And I started screaming and running around my apartment. All my neighbors got woken up. There were dogs barking in the building. But they understood. When you hit a parlay of a lifetime, no one can be upset.
Dude, and honestly, I think we run it back. I think you got your confidence. You saw one go through the hoop. And I say you start upping the odds and you keep shooting your shots, because I'm telling you, I don't think I've taken a bet in the past 5 months that's less than plus 10,000. I've really just gone off the rails here, so that's why I called you in. So if you were gonna if you're gonna show your Pikkit calendar for the month of September, barring last night's bet, right? You take that away. Are we seeing all red or are we seeing all green?
I think we're in the green, barring last night. Last night would have put us in the green. I had the worst weekend of my life with college football last week, but this has been the best NFL month I've had, regardless of last night. But college football, starting to live bet some games to win back some money definitely put me more in the red. But NFL has kept us afloat. I think I'm up like 30 units this month now, which is definitely one of my best months I've had.
Wow. Well, we will get into it. We will ask for your blessings coming up on this college football or this NFL slate. I know college is, that's tough for anyone. If you say you're a college sharp, you're a liar, because they're a bunch of kids you're betting on. But to start off, Alex, you got to tell us, how did you get into the industry? How did it start? I've been seeing your tweets going back, 2 years, 3 years. You've been always just on top of the sports game. So tell us how you got into this industry and where you're going from here.
Yeah, long story short, this is my 4th year now doing this, but I started out as a fantasy football guy when I was in college, and I loved fantasy football. And I did that for about 3 years. And then after I graduated school, I was like, okay, fantasy football, I absolutely love it. It's not going to make me the big bucks, so why not do sports betting? It's similar research. It's all the same sports. And that's when I transitioned over to that. And then I just started posting plays, hitting some big lays like that definitely helped contribute to building a following. But a lot of it has just been day in, day out, posting stuff every day, for almost 5 years now. And I do not intend on stopping anytime soon, especially when you can toss out some winners for the people.
You were in college just doing fantasy football picks. And then did you just tell your friends one day, you're like, you know what, dude, I think I really got some good picks. And if I go bet on them at a casino, I think we could make some money here.
That's pretty much it. It was just as simple as, okay, fantasy football, you're in it's a lot of season-long leagues. You don't see the glory until the end of the season. So I was like, why not take that glory to week to week? Let's take the show on the road week after week. And then from there, it was pretty much the same. It's all the same process as fantasy football. It's more of just any given week, what's going to happen. And I think that definitely started to pay off because, again, as well as I do, you learn so much about players week to weeks and how teams change. And I think that fantasy football background definitely really contributed to a lot of the winnings on the bet side.
So do your friends hate you at fantasy football? Have you been running this league for the past 7 years?
You know what's so funny is like that after I started making content, I have not won since because everyone knows what I'm drafting. You know, people listen to my podcast or they're watching my TikTok videos. So every time I'd be coming up to draft, they'd be like, okay, Alex is about to take this guy when I'm like 3 picks away. And they'd be right every time because here I'm screaming on TikTok about Rashee Rice and how he's going to have a career season this year and you need to be taking him in the 8th round. And then, you know, what do you know? Someone else drafting Rashee Rice in round 6 because no one wants Alex to get the guys that he wants. So I have not even come close to winning because my draft strategy is all completely out there.
Well, you're compromised, but you do it for the people. You're an
Of
American
course.
hero. Just know that. But hey, so going into you've been doing this for a while now. You started in college. Watching these content creators come up in the industry, I definitely think you were one of the first. So getting into the industry, where do you think this industry is going to go? And for someone that wants to get in, has a phone, has no connections to anyone in the industry, what would be your advice to them?
I mean, number one advice: post every day. I mean, like if anyone looked back to like my first podcast or like my first TikTok videos, like you would think that I was like one of these single worst content creators like that's ever been born. But a lot of it was just like I just did not really care, and I was just gonna continue posting every day, continue trying to get better. Like it's such a silly thing, but like I mean, there's so many people that you can point out that like no one starts off really great at it, but people just always think it has to be as perfect as someone that's been doing it for 5 years. So I think that's like the biggest advice, just people that are like not afraid to post every day, especially in something that's so saturated. But I think showing up like every single day, it's so silly, but like I work 345 days a year. I mean, I think it's shifting more towards entertainment. I don't think people like want like to hear about that the Cardinals or the Jaguars run cover 3 and how much man coverage they won. I think that it's more towards like the people that are going to be successful or the book it with Trents and the people that like can just like make you feel the vibes and make you enjoy it. Because a lot of us, we're not here to make money when we're gambling. We know we're probably going to lose. So I think a lot of it is just shifting more towards trying to be entertaining and try to build a community versus trying to be the smartest guy in the room.
Wow, that was perfectly said. I mean, when I started with Trent as well, and I would start posting videos, and I wanted to get more into the YouTube game. This industry, it literally it is changing every single year, and I think with all these new guys coming in, who knows what's going to happen? Pat McAfee, he's the perfect entertainer, and that guy's throwing down money on sports. So just wanted to get your take on the industry, how you got into it. But now that you're in the industry, there's some painful moments. We call them bad beats. And I know you've had plenty of them. You got to tell me, what's that one bad beat where you didn't sleep?
I mean, honestly, it's so crazy that when we were talking earlier about that, like the best bet was last night. I think that Sunday night might have been the single worst thing I've ever witnessed on a football field with Patrick Mahomes rushing yards, where his over under was 18 and a half rushing yards, and he was at 31 rushing yards with 40 seconds left in the game, and all they had to do was kneel the ball 3 times, but for people that don't know, with the Cardinals were the team they were playing with the timeouts they had to shave off a few extra seconds to not be able to give the other team the ball back. So rather than just taking a knee right behind the center, Patrick Mahomes starts running backwards 4 or 5 yards behind the line 3 straight times. So we get to the final kneel down. He is still 3 yards over his rushing line. All he has to do is not get a negative 4-yard kneel on the final kneel. And what does he do? He backs up 5 yards, takes a final kneel, and we go from 13 rushing yards over to under in a matter of 7 seconds at the end of the game when they were going to win anyway.
And let me tell you, there's nothing worse than for the people that don't know out there seeing that green check in your app saying, hey, you've already hit this bet. Congratulations, man. And you're like, that's awesome. Imagine it getting taken away.
It happened.
That is pain.
I mean, we all use Pikkit Sports, the greatest app to be tracking your bets, and I got green. I got cashed out on that play. And then all of a sudden it was green, and I refreshed, and all of a sudden I was down like another $100 when I was in the green for that play. I didn't even think that was possible. I thought it's when they grade it out, it's over. But Patrick Mahomes said, Vegas, I got you, and sold some people a lot of money.
If you guys don't have Pikkit Sports, please go download it in the App Store to track all your favorite gamblers on the app. I know Trent's on there. You can see how much he loses. Alex is on there. You can see how much he wins. But I'm on there as well. Go follow us on Pikkit Sports. Make sure to download it. And Pikkit Pro is the best app if you want to get line shopping. If you guys don't know what line shopping is, This app will go check all the sports apps for you and make sure you're getting the best line available for that player. So go download Pikkit Sports right now if you don't have it. And also, speaking of line shopping, you have to trust me on the college slate. I'm going to trust you on the NFL slate. We're going to combine them. And I promise you, this is going to be your best weekend. And this is going to be the best bet you've ever won if you parlay all these. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Northern Illinois. They are actually a wagon in the Maction. I bet them to win the Maction, and they are looking great. I had them at 6-1 odds. Okay, right now, though, they're playing Massachusetts this weekend. Massachusetts is terrible. They are terrible. The Maction shows up to play. It's October. It's Maction's month. They should be playing Wednesday, but they got them on a Saturday. I think the last Saturday before the Maction moves to Wednesday. Northern Illinois at home is going to roll Massachusetts. I don't care what the line is. You take it.
I'm with it. I mean, I went to school in Massachusetts, so I know how bad that team is. I'll ride with you till the wheels fall off.
Okay, my next pick is Temple at UConn. We're going to take the over. These are two terrible teams. Okay, they have decent offenses. By decent, they can move the ball, but their defenses are heinous. I think it should be criminal that they let these men even go onto a football field. We're going to take the over. It's going to hit in the, I would say, halftime. Penn State is a wagon. Penn State is hosting UCLA. UCLA, not great. They're not a good Big Ten school. Penn State actually might make a run in the college football playoffs this year. I believe it. So I'm telling you, Penn State's going to cover. And the wagon of all wagons, we got Tennessee at Arkansas. Tennessee, I'm riding till the wheels fall off. They are a powerhouse in offense. I would take the over. I would. But I'm going to take Tennessee to cover. Tennessee to cover against Arkansas. Northern Illinois to cover against Massachusetts. We're going to take the over on Temple versus Massachusetts, and Penn State to cover against UCLA. Now bless us with your NFL picks.
The first pick that I absolutely cannot get enough of in Week 5 is the Bills spread against the Texans. Currently, it is just half a point. But this Bills offense has been so dominant versus everyone. We have Nico Collins already with a hamstring injury. Tank Dell is banged up. Their offensive line's banged up. Joe Mixon is banged up. And the Bills have absolutely rolled teams in back-to-back games with over 20-point wins. It's a half a point spread right now. I think that is a lock. My favorite dog of the week is the Carolina Panthers against the Bears. I don't think that Caleb Williams has figured it out yet. The Red Rifle is going to reign true with, I think, the most underrated wide receiver in the NFL in Deontay Johnson. I love their coaching staff, their offense. Right now, the Panthers are 3.5-point dogs. I'd be taking them at money line. But my pick of the week is for the Chiefs minus 6.5 against the Saints. The Saints have rolled so far, but it is Derek Carr who always struggles against good teams. Derek Carr, just like Dak, looks like a superhuman against bad teams, but against good teams and against cover 2, Derek Carr, not that guy. Chiefs minus 6.5. Lock that in.
Wow. All right, so we got, and then give me one anytime touchdown score.
Deontay Johnson in that Bears game, he is going to reign true. He's going to see over double-digit targets in that game, find his way into the end zone.
Wow, Deontay Johnson, anytime touchdown. We are adding that to the parlay. My 4 college picks, your 4 NFL picks. We might be looking at the most profitable sports weekend. I don't know if the sports books are particularly worried about us, but they should be, because this might be the parlay to change it all for this year. I love it. I love it.
They'll never let us back in. I mean, it's that simple.
Love it. They're not letting us back. They might not even, dude, but you cannot cash out, because I'm telling you, mine are hitting on Saturday. So when we go to the Sunday and they're offering you $1,500 to bail out, you better not bail on me.
I've never cashed out. I don't think I ever will cash out. We're riding into the wheels fall off to the point that they will not let us into the state of Nevada when we try to fly in unless they turn the plane around, because we are not allowed back in after this cash that we're going to get.
All right, Alex. Are you ready to play a game called How Many Beers to Take This Bet, presented by Pikkit Sports?
Absolutely.
The game is simple. I'm going to present you a bet. You tell me how many beers it would take for you to consume to actually put American currency on this bet.
I'm ready.
How many beers to take this bet? The Bengals to win the AFC North.
Oh, man. At least 7 or 8.
7 or 8 beers. Are we talking, are those light beers or heavy?
Heavy beers. I mean, those are IPAs. 7 or 8 IPAs right now. After 0-3, I mean, it is going to take some courage and at least one of my friends in an AJ Green or Andy Dalton jersey. That's a throwback for me to take it.
Jerry Jones to hoist a Lombardi trophy in his lifetime.
I mean, that is going to take, I mean, a case of about 60 natty lights for me to take that. That would be the most blackout bet of all time. It is the curse that keeps on cursing. I don't think it would almost ever happen.
60 beers, man, that's brutal.
I mean,
Cowboy
I'd
fans
be
are gonna love
carried
you for
onto a
that one.
stretcher, like taking that. I mean, the EMT would have to be like placing the bet for me to take that play.
Trevor Lawrence to be a starter in the NFL in 2025.
Oh man, I'll take two beers. People like long hair. He'll find a way to start, even if he doesn't deserve it.
Wow, that's a great answer. You're just going to a bar having a drink because he's going to be starting. You think?
Yeah, you're going on a date, 2 drinks max, getting out of there and seeing for the if you want to go on the next one.
All right. Well, what about Jim Harbaugh to go back to Michigan?
Oh, I would do that sober. I mean, I just hope for that as a fan. I mean, I don't need any beer. That's just something I think about. I have a picture of Jim Harbaugh on my wall in my bedroom. I'm just like, please go back to Michigan, make the Pickett guys happy, make me happy. So I would do that sober, and if anything, you'll get tears instead of alcohol in that one.
I've never heard of someone have a coach on their wall. Well, that is impressive. And
Dedication.
I'm sorry.
I mean, dedication to the game.
I'm hoping that happens too. So you would actually be drinking beers if it happened. Celebratory beers.
100%. We'd be
I like that.
celebrating with the most diabolical Jaeger bombs that anyone has ever seen if he ends up going back to Michigan.
All right. Travis Kelce to win Offensive Player of the Year.
That's gonna take. I mean, you have to be drinking like Hennessy at this point to be taking a bet like that. So I'll say at least a dozen beers, and they're probably seltzers if you're gonna be betting on Travis Kelce. Yeah, it's a 12 pack of
Swifty
seltzers.
fans
for sure.
are going to hate you for saying that. They're breaking down that Patrick Mahomes is purposely ignoring him because of the political climate. I don't know. I mean, if Swifties put their brain power behind sports betting, they would actually bankrupt the casinos. So hopefully we can make a merger there soon. But yeah, you heard it here. He's not taking that bet or he will lose his liver. Travis Kelce will not be the Offensive Player of the Year. And then, Alex, before we let you go, I have to ask. Like I said, you are great sports gamblers, but big-time players make big-time plays. And I need one team that you have for me in the NFL that cannot win the Super Bowl. That cannot win the Super Bowl, okay? And if they do win the Super Bowl, you have to agree that you will tail Book It with Trent for a whole year.
Easy. It's funny you say this. It's almost like we prepped for it and didn't even know it. I placed the biggest bet of my entire life down 2 days ago. I put 30 units on it. It is going to ruin my Pikkit forever if it does not hit. I put 30 units on the Jaguars minus 400 to not make the playoffs. One team has ever made the playoffs since 2000 after starting 0-3. The Bengals are also 0-3. The Jaguars have lost 8 straight Trevor Lawrence starts. And if they lose to the Texans this week, they'll be 0-4. Only one 0-4 team in the 70-year history of the NFL has ever made the playoffs after being 0-4. I put 30 units on it. I thought minus 400 was ludicrous. Even if he's going to be a starter next year, they are not making the playoffs.
You put 30 units on a minus 400 bet?
I had to. I mean, I was literally up until 3 in the morning, just staring at the wall, staring at Jim Harbaugh. And he was starting to tell me at that point, he's like, Alex, please, more. I was debating putting 50 units on it. Because, I mean, one team has ever made the playoffs since 2000 after starting 0-3. Bengals are also 0-3. If anybody, it's going to be the Bengals. I don't see it being the Jaguars.
So you're telling me we're also going to add that if the Jaguars do make the playoffs, you have to tail Book It with Trent for the whole year. Is that correct?
Easy. Yeah, of
right.
course. I mean, I'll tail every bet that Book It with Trent puts down for the next 3 years if the Jaguars make the playoffs. I'll lose more than 30 units on that.
Dude, you're getting into some dicey territory because people are going to hold you accountable.
I'm willing. I'm willing to take the shot. It wouldn't be the first time I've lost in a big way, but I think that this one it's the most units I've ever put down in my entire sports betting career. So I think it's going to be one of the biggest locks of the century, and easy 10 units to make off of it.
That is beautiful. Well, I currently have 74 units pending on the Texas Longhorns. So I'm going to try to get you over to my side where we don't even unit count. We just bet blindly. And if we win, we just put it on the addition side. It's like Prize Picks. They only show your amount won. You don't worry about the losses. Those are in the past. Once you can do that in sports gambling, you have perfected your craft. I'm telling you. But Alex, before I let you go, you got to tell me your best fantasy football punishment story because I know you have one. That's how you started off. And then you got to give us all your social medias before you get off.
Oh, it's the cage. Have you heard of the cage in fantasy football punishment?
No,
I've not
but
done
it
it.
sounds like a medieval
I've
one. I like it.
seen videos of the cage. And the
Okay.
cage is a dog cage, and 11 of your league mates get to show up to the next draft, and they all pick one ingredient to pour on you, throw at you, spill onto you while you are stuck in a dog cage, locked up. It's probably the most vile thing I've ever seen. I'd rather sit in Waffle House for 48 hours than be in the cage for 5 minutes with my friends all getting to pick an ingredient. So
That is awful. What if the kid has a peanut allergy and then you bring some peanut butter?
it's, how badly does he negotiate trades? I mean, if he's not a great negotiator and he's not willing to make a deal, if he's the guy that trades once every 8 years, I'm bringing the peanut butter. I'm bringing 2 jars of peanut butter even if he's allergic. So again, it's only how you treat your league mates is what you're going to get back when you're in the cage. So
Man, dude, I'm telling Alex, and so you endorse the cage as a fantasy football punishment?
yeah, I do. I mean, I think it is the only kind of cruel and unusual punishment that I think should be fully legalized for every fantasy football league across America.
Well, Alex, I cannot thank you enough for not only telling us what we should do for our fantasy football loser this year, but you've been blessing us with winners not only this past few weekends, but you're going to give us one this weekend. I'm taking it. Anyone who's not going to tail, you're going to lose money. And if you want to see these bets, go to the Pikkit app. Follow Alex because he's going to post them, and we are all going to be greened out this October to start it off. Alex, can you give us your socials and sign us off and tell us where we can find all your picks? All your picks.
Yeah, really, really, really simple. I mean, it's at Alex Caruso, no spaces, underscores, capitals, numbers, anything on both Twitter and on Pikkit. You can find me at Alex Caruso Sports on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, wherever else. It's going to be betting content coming out pretty much 365 days a year. So stay tuned and hopefully we can cash some more parlays.
And that's the Pikkit Playbook for this week. We will see you in 2 weeks from now with another guest. But Alex, thank you so much for your time.
Of course, anytime.